Just here to tell you a little bit about my North Adelaide experience. Anyone that knows my family probably thinks it's quite funny that, you know, the Magpies or the Power aren't working with someone like me. Well, I've never been given the opportunity to actually deal with them recently, since my brother actually hasn't been working there. And last year, one of the players who was actually a player when I worked with Port Adelaide in 2010, he was actually coaching one of the local SANFL sides. And luckily they had good memories of what I was doing, and we were way ahead of the game in 2010. But he sort of said, would I come along and work with some of the players? And based on my book and everything else, I said, the whole thing is, if you want to be a great team, it can't just be about individuals, and you can't just work with one or two and hope things get better. In fact, not only does the players, but all the coaching staff and even the support staff need to all be heading in the same direction. And that's that fitting the individual with the team. And so they were at the bottom the year before. Their reserves had done quite well, and they did recruit really quite well over the summer. So I suppose it started off with the coach asking me to profile some people and talk about who would make good captains and why, and then also being able to work with the captains during the year, because again, just because they profile as being the best doesn't mean they can't improve, and teaching people how to actually be the best and deal with others is a big part of being a captain. Then came doing some times with everyone, and that was teaching the whole group a lot of this think, prepare, play like a champion in 2 or 3 hour sessions all together. Of course, we did it over food because it should be fun, and it should be not after training when everyone's exhausted. It should actually be a joyous time. What can I say about the outcome? Well, when you have great coaches, the players actually are not only driven but also see the joy and the loving of being there. Probably the biggest thing I can say is, here's these guys on grand final day. Not only did the league win, but also the reserves won. And if you're talking about a club, that's what clubs are. They're not just the league team, it is everyone involved in the club. And that's all the players that were out there. Again, for me it was an experience, and the reason why I put on some different, this photo is pretty interesting because I went to work for them and had no idea who anyone was. Well, very little idea except a few of them. So I worked out who was who, what their numbers were. My friends came along and we actually got to know every player so that we could cheer them on. Plus also it allowed me to start understanding a little bit more about their lives. Also went through all their player profiles to find out what they liked, didn't like, and then we started. And we started with, I thought, by the way, this was a great photo one of my friends, Meredith, took. It showed a rainbow, which was hope over the oval during the year. And of course we did things like jigsaws together. We did all the performance things. They practiced the controlling breath. There was some controversy. We went during the year, we got poured on. We all learned about red frogs. This is another one of my young guys who played for the opposition in the reserves, under 18s, and he won the medal for the best and fairest for that, which was fantastic. Then there was all of us getting prepared, wearing our hats, the budgets, the profiles on every person, and then finally, how good was it when we got to go to the chimney ceremony and actually be part of the chimney ceremony when they all pulled, and Josh recognised me at the chimney, which was really nice to have someone give you a shout out, say how important you were. And I'm only saying this about the chimney because my dad actually started that whole tradition in Adelaide. I think it was in 1958, so the year after I was born the chimney ceremony started. Seeing all these young guys being sensible too when they won. It wasn't all about being over the top. It was actually the hard work that they did. Great coaches in Josh and Serge. There's seeing at the top, and again holding the cup. And probably I'm going to say one of the greatest things for me was going with my friends, and we went every week to every game, rode all the bumps, but never being disappointed, always understanding they were working at getting better, were willing to do extra stuff, and they deserved this at the end.